Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. So in today's video, we're going to be having a quick look at Vite plugins. We're going to be building one from scratch just to see how it works, and we're going to be hooking into the hot module replacement API, which is pretty cool. So let's get right into it. So the first thing I'll point you towards is the Vite documentation. If you head over to guide at the top and then using plugins, if you've not heard of plugins, this is probably the place to start. Plugins just essentially allow you to extend Vite's functionality. Everything that happens if you're using Vite is probably some sort of plugin behind the scenes, whether that's transforming the code, transpiling things, minifying things. And if you're using Vite, you're most likely already using plugins. If you're using it for something like a React app, the React app is a plugin itself. If you're using it with a framework like Remix, again, you're going to see the Remix plugin. But it's not very often that you need to author your own plugin. This is usually for library maintainers, but it's definitely useful if you've got some custom configuration that you need to apply to your application. So I definitely recommend having a read through this. The next place I'd recommend going to is the plugin API. So there's two things that you need to open up here, the plugin API and also Rollups plugin documentation. And that's because the first thing you'll see here is that Vite plugin system essentially extends Rollups plugin systems. It uses the same interface. And what this means is that most of the time, if you're building a Rollup plugin, it's going to work within Vite. It doesn't work the other way around just because Vite has got its own specific hooks that don't exist in Rollup, but that's just a general good thing to know. And again, I'd recommend going through Rollup's documentation. So the first and obvious question just before we get into the code is, of course, what is a plugin? How does it actually work? And if we scroll down here, there are some simple examples. If I just head over here, and a plugin is just an object, right? Most of the time it's going to be wrapped in a function, and that's just to accept config or input options, but it is just an object with some parameters inside. So you can see here, we've got the name as the first thing, and then you're going to have a bunch of what we call hooks. And these are essentially just callbacks that will get called within the Vite or Rollup build lifecycle. So every different hook will happen at a different time within the lifecycle, and you're just going to use that callback with the parameters passed through to manipulate it and to return different things. And that's how you're going to affect the lifecycle of your build. So for example, this module here allows you to import a message constant from a virtual MyModule file, which doesn't exist on disk, and just log that out, right? So if we look at the different hooks and lifecycles that this one's pulling in, first one is resolve ID. Again, you're not going to find that in the Vite one. That's because this one belongs to Rollup. So we head over to Rollup, build hooks, resolve ID, and you're going to find out everything that you need to about this one. So this is basically just resolving what the module ID is, which is this part of the import. So if you go back, this one's just saying, hey, if you find something called virtual module ID, this is, return this ID. Don't look into the file system or don't try to figure out the module, just return it directly. And then the load here, again, go back into the Rollup one, you're going to find the load. This basically loads the module itself, reads it from disk by default, it does whatever. In this case, we're saying, hey, if you find a virtual MyModule, which is the one that we've defined up here, don't load it from disk, don't look for it, just return this code right here. And this is, of course, got the message that we're going to print out in the bit below. So I think this is basically as simple as you get in terms of a plugin. We're going to do something a bit more realistic, a bit more involved, and we're going to be, of course, hooking into the hot module replacement API. So yeah, let's get into the code. So I'm just in my terminal here, and I'm going to make a Vite plugin directory. I'll just cd into that directory. I'm going to create a Vite application. This is just going to be a React application with TypeScript. So I'm going to open this up in my editor, and I'll bring you back once everything's installed and running. So I have the application running here, and I've changed absolutely nothing. And of course, with Vite, the first thing you're going to see is this kind of counter thing, and you can click on it a few times. And if you change something, testing here, you're going to see that HMR, right? So this updated without the count changing, right? So I'm just going to add, only thing I'm going to add here is the text area, and this is just to make it a bit more clear that nothing's changing as we do things. So we can change this counter, and then we can remove testing. That's all updating, and we can clearly see the state is being kept. So what we're going to do in this plugin, so if I open up the terminal, if I go up a directory, well, let me just list the parent directory. This is my YouTube tutorials directory. It's on GitHub. It's got all the different tutorials that I do. One of the files I've got is just a simple README, right? So if I just cat the README in the parent directory, oops, if I just go here, it's just a simple README. And what we want to do is we want to take that README, we want to copy it into the public directory of this application, and we want to display it. So we're just going to display it on screen. And what I want to do with the hot module replacement part is anytime I update this README directory, which is outside of the project, it's kind of outside of the Vite lifecycle, I want it to have the same hot module replacement going on as well. So that's basically the goal that we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the Vite config here, and yeah, let's just get started. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a function here. So I'm going to call this the README plugin, and this is going to have no kind of input configuration or anything. It's just going to be, we're just going to hard code it all inside just for the sake of this demo. And I'm just going to add a type here. So this is going to be the plugin type, and this is going to come from Vite. And this is just to give us some autocomplete on the actual plugin. And like I said, we're just going to return an object. The first one is going to be the name, and we're not going to be using the transform. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. The first thing we will use is something called config resolve. So in terms of which hooks to be using, I can't teach you all the different hooks. It is a case of just having a look at the documentation and seeing what exists. You just need to think through what you need and, you know, and kind of take it from there. So the first step I know is I need to read the README file from the parent directory. So I need to know at least the root directory, which is kind of easy enough. And the next thing I need to know is, well, I want to output it into the public directory. But of course, the public directory can be configured within the Vite config. So essentially what I need to do is read the Vite config and basically take it from there, right? So I know for a fact, because I've looked into this before, there is a hook called config resolved just there. So I'm just going to hook into that, and I'm just going to do, you know, control space here, and you can kind of see all the different ones. So config resolved, and that gives you basically the config here, right? So if I go down here and I can just log that config, and if I just open up the terminal, just because this refreshed, I can kind of scroll up and see all the different elements within that configuration. I can see all the plugins that have been added by default. The config's got a lot of things other than what you just see here, right? And one of the things it has is the public directory, which we're going to use. And of course, it's got the root, which we're also going to use, right? So what we can do here, of course, we need the configuration in the scope of the actual function, not just within this this callback. So I'm just going to define a couple of variables here. Next up, I'm just going to jump over here, and I'm going to say readme is going to equal to path.resolve. So I'm just going to use the node path, and I'm going to resolve from config root, and that's the root file. And then we want to go up a directory and across. So path, it's not happy with that. Yeah, so you might need to add, I think I had this before, you might need to do an npm install, just to make sure that you've got the node types. So I think it's type/node. So if we add that, then this should be a bit happier, and then we can import that. So I'm just going to import it from node path. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to do the same thing for the output readme, right? So the output readme is going to be path resolve. And instead of root, I want to output this into the public directory. And it's just going to be called, well, it's just going to be called readme. So I think that's absolutely fine. So now that we've resolved the config, we just need to copy it. And when do we want to copy it? Well, there's a few different hooks I think that could work. I'm going to do one that makes kind of sense in terms of the naming. So there is a hook called, let's see, I think it was build start. So I'm going to go build start. This does take in some options, but I'm not going to use any of them. And I'm just going to do a simple copy. So I'm going to do an fs.copy file. And I'm not going to make this sync, so I'm going to await this, and you can make the function async here. There are some recommendations in terms of how to use synchronous versus asynchronous code in the documentation, so I'd recommend checking that. And we're just going to import this fs. So this is going to complain to me because it is type any, so let's just go to these two here, and let's just make them type string. So we know they're going to be string. Let's just explicitly pop that in. So at this point, that's actually all you need to do the first step, right? So if I open up the project here, and if I restart this just to let the build run, what you're going to see is in the public directory, you're going to see the readme file, right? It's been copied in, right? So that's kind of the first step. So let's go into our app, and I'm going to copy and paste some of the code just so you don't watch me do it. And this is just basically going to be reading the app. So I'm just going to create a state called readme, and then I'm going to have a use effect here with, let's just close that use effect just like that. And let's just import that from React. So all this use effect is doing is just fetching the readme from the public directory, and then it's just going to set the readme. And then, of course, at the bottom here, we're just going to add a div, and hopefully, yeah, just like that. And once you've done that, if we head back over to the app, and if you just move this across, we're basically just going to see that README at the bottom of the page. Perfect. But if we open up the README, so I'm just opening up the actual README file from the parent directory. I'm just going to drag it in here. So this is the README from the parent directory. Of course, if we change anything here, that's not going to be reflected inside the app. Not until I restart the server, because then it's going to rerun, rebuild, copy over that double S at the end, And this is basically the workflow we have now, right? So first step is let's just get it to restart itself. Let's just at least get it to update the README. And where we can do that is another hook. And this one is going to be called configure server. So this is essentially configuring the dev server. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to move it above the build start. I just like the order that way. So we have access to the server, and there's a few things inside here. One of the things specifically we want to access is the watcher, right? So Vite here has an instance of, if I click into this, it's got an instance of the Chokidar file system watcher, and we can hook into that depending on the rest of our configuration. We can hook into that and basically add and edit things. So we can go over here and we can do watcher.add readme, and now we can of course subscribe to changes and do things, which is exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to do watcher on change. Yeah, there we go. So GitHub knows that I've done this before. So watcher, anytime any file has changed, we're going to hook into that. This here is just basically checking that the file that's changed, so this is the file name, is the same as the README file, so the input, which is the one here. So if it's the same one there, then all we're going to do is we're going to redo this command, right? We're just going to recopy that. So I'm just going to close this here, so that should be fine. So now what this should do is essentially listen to any of the changes on that README and then just copy the file again, right? So if we head over to here and I'm just going to do a refresh just to make sure everything's fine. If I go to the original README here, I update this, and if I come over to the public directory here, so nothing's changed on the app, of course, that's kind of expected. If we open this, we can see that this one's being updated, right? So again, we go back, let's just remove channel, and I go to the public directory, it's getting copied across, which means now the workflows, instead of restarting the whole app, all we need to do is refresh, right? Oops, I've just clicked on that button. If I refresh now, it's gonna see the changes. So again, let's just undo channels here, come back, refresh. So now we're one step closer. The final bit that we're missing is the actual hot module replacement. So let's do that. So we're gonna head back over to the Vite config, and we're gonna do one final hook here, and this one is handle hot update here, right? So this one's going to take in a few things, and the only two that we need is the file and the server. So this one here is going to be called every time there's a hot update instead of just any watch on the file change, right? So essentially anytime this gets changed, it's going to set off the kind of hot update, and then we can react and do things with that, right? So we're going to come into here, and what we're going to do is, again, we're going to do the, well, let's just see what this does here, right? Yeah, so we're going to do the if file is equal to readme. That's what we care about. We're going to do server dot, in fact, we're going to do server dot hot, right? If you're on an older version, it might be the WebSocket type thing. We're going to do hot. And then we're going to send an event. So at this point with the hot module replacement, it's kind of like a pub sub type thing, right? So you're going to broadcast messages and you're going to listen to them. So we're just going to remove this path here. If we kept it here as full reload, this is an existing type, right? So this is an object with an existing type. What that's going to do is anytime this file changes, it's just going to do a full reload, right? So if I go into the README here and I start changing this, I save, it's going to do that reload, right? And that's almost what we want, but it doesn't quite maintain the state. So again, if I remove this and I hit save, it updates the README, so it's doing everything fine, but it's not keeping the state. So what we need to do, in fact, is we need to jump back in here. We don't want to do a full reload. We want to do a custom event, right? So there's a few different kind of types here. We're going to look for the custom, and we're going to fill in the event here. I'm going to call this one reload readme, right? So this is a custom event called reload readme. And because we've added a custom event, it's no longer going to update again. So if I go in here, update, nothing's reloading because it doesn't know how to. So we need to actually go into the app code and basically add a block to say, hey, if you ever encounter this custom event, you need to reload yourself, right? So how do we do that? Well, this is all just going to be logic within your app. And it's going to be very kind of app specific. It's going to be very dependent on how your apps are working. In my case, I know that I've got this use effect and I know that I've got this fetch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen out to that update and I'm going to re-trigger this fetch and update the state anytime that happens. And the first thing you want to do is you want to always check if it is import meta hot. Basically, are you within the context of a hot reload? I think this is actually exactly what we want, almost. So import meta hot, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to remove this to not confuse you. I'm going to remove this function because we've already got that function here. So what we want to is we want to listen to on custom, well, what do we call it actually? So let's go back into our Vite config. We call this reload readme. So on the event, so this on is basically listen out to events. On the event reload readme, we want to call this fetch readme function, which we've already defined, right? And it's definitely worth noting that everything behind this conditional is going to be removed in the production code. So this is only going to be working in the dev server. But if I refresh this now, just make sure everything's running fine, I'm going to add some state. Hello, I'm going to add the counter. Now, when I go over to the original readme file and I update something, changed, you can see here on the right hand side, that's just been updated and we've kept the state. So the hot module replacement is working exactly as expected. And there you have it. Hopefully that's enough to get you started with developing Vite plugins and playing around with the hot module replacement API. The final thing of note just before I leave you is there is a lot of community plugins out there, so I definitely recommend checking those out before going ahead and creating your own one. But definitely play around with it and have some fun. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.